All right, we put it off long enough. Let's answer the question. What's wrong with the New York Mets? Because it has been a bad season to say the least. And I've got three things I'm going to talk about when it comes to the New York Mets so far this season, to why I believe they are playing as poorly as they are. So let's start by prefacing this video is being recorded on June the 3rd. Currently have an off day tomorrow, so it won't be impacted too much the record or anything along those lines. They are 27-35. That's a 35 win percentage. They're 14 and a half games behind the Atlanta Braves for the division, and this is a team that is pretty far out of a wild card spot as well, if I remember right. Let's see, MLB wild card standings for right now. I believe they're either 5.5 or 6.5 games out of the wild card in the National League. And they are 6 games out currently at the moment behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. So there's been a lot wrong with this team so far, but the big one, the obvious one, injuries. It's tough to really start with how bad this team has been when without starting with injuries, because that has really hampered them so far this season, because they have missed a lot of players. How about their start? Well, I have a list scrolling on the bottom, but we'll start. We'll go name by name. Francisco Alvarez, your starting catcher. You know, the guy that works with this starting rotation. A nice power bat in the middle of the lineup. Yes, he can be inconsistent average wise, but he is definitely someone you want in the lineup. And he's missed a decent amount of time. He has a torn meniscus, but he's going to be coming back hopefully soon. He's going to be starting his rehab. I believe if it wasn't today, it's going to be within the next couple of days. Um, Francisco Lindor has been missing for a little bit now as well. And he had, I think it was in his knee, and he's been out for over a month now, and he's just starting baseball activities. Could be rehabbing somewhat soon, but still, you don't want to lose your captain for as long as they have. Juan Soto, he missed a good chunk of time, and during that time they went on the 12-game losing streak, which has put them where they are right now. And I believe their record with Juan Soto has actually been pretty good. Um, uh, oh no, not with Juan Soto this year. The Mets are 23-20 with Juan Soto. They've had Soto and Lindor play the same game, I think, 7 times this year. They've both started 7 or 9 games together, and we are over 60 games into the season. So they've not had those two of the top 10 players in baseball play on the same day more than 10 times this year. So that's obviously not good. Kodai Senga, he's missed some time as well. He is rehabbing currently in Syracuse. Don't know how much we want him back in the rotation or anything along those lines, because he did struggle a little bit, but I can see that as potentially an injury thing as well. Jorge Polanco, he was struggling in the beginning of the season, but that's because he was playing in it through an injury, and he is currently rehabbing as well. He was rehabbing in Binghamton a couple nights ago. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in Syracuse now, and he should be back relatively soon. Unlike the next guy we'll talk about, Luis Robert, no updates on him. No idea what's wrong. I don't remember what's wrong with him exactly, but no updates on him. He's been out for a little bit now, but the way the Mets outfield is set up now with Ewing and Benj and Soto, I don't really know what Robert's role is going to be when/if he returns. So haven't heard much from Luis Robert. That was somebody you traded for in the offseason, and he's making $20 million that you were hoping were going to contribute. Ronnie Mauricio, another guy, he finally started getting some playing time, and he tore something. I want to say it was his ACL or something along those lines, diving uh, into first base. He's out for the rest of the year, but he was a highly touted prospect that we were hoping was going to be able to play some shortstop when Lindor was hurt, and he also got hurt. Clay Holmes, broke his leg on a fluky comebacker, still pitched another inning after that somehow. Um, he is done until probably later in the season. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be shocked if he's back before sometime in August. Um, AJ Minter finally returned. He missed majority of the season. He just got back recently. And then a few guys who have been out all year that are going to be out all year: Megill, Núñez, Garrett, and Hagenman. I believe three of the four had, or all four of them had Tommy John surgery. We won't see them at all. Jared Young finally returned. He had a torn meniscus, which, if you've heard torn meniscus before, Alvarez had that, and so did Mike Tauchman, which is not the next guy, but the following guy after that. We haven't heard from him at all much. And he tore his meniscus before the season started. Tyrone Taylor hit the injury list. Gerber finally returned recently. He's actually had a couple stints with the Mets, but he started the year on the IL. So just a ton of injuries the Mets have had to go through so far this season, and that is a major reason why they are playing the way they are. And they were running out the lineups they were is because they're missing so many players, and they should be getting a lot of these guys back. Alvarez should be back hopefully this month. Lindor should be back this month. Polanco should be back this month. So that's three nice additions back into your starting lineup that you hope to see towards the in this month sometimes. So this situation's not great. It's not good at all right now, injuries with the Mets, but do expect those to get a little bit better. The next one here, underperforming slash underperforming metrics. This is a team that they have had some guys that have just massively underperformed this year. Yes, Bichette's been a very, very big disappointment so far this season, hitting 213, but a 276 expected batting average. Like, he has a 299 slug with a 425 expected slug. He has a 259 WOBA with a 331 expected WOBA. And I feel like you can see this all over the Mets right now, that their advanced metrics are better than what they're putting on the field. With Lindor, before he got hurt, 226 batting average, a 253 expected batting average, 355 slug compared to a 433 expected slug, 303 WOBA compared to a 340 expected WOBA. All down the list here, I can give you so many more examples of Mets players that are underachieving compared to what their metrics say they should be doing, which leads me to believe that over the larger sample size, that they will be better. I mean, even Juan Soto, his expected slug is 625 compared to his actual slug of 574. 415 expected WOBA compared to a 406. Carson Bench, 254 batting average, 276 expected batting average, 385 slug, 459 expected slug. Marcus Semien, 225 batting average, 260 expected batting average, 344 slug, 427 expected slug. So you look at the advanced metrics for a lot of these hitters, shows that the batted ball data is pretty okay with this team. It's not as bad as the way it's been so far this year. It's just it should be better. And that's something I can see getting better throughout the rest of the season, is these guys start to play towards their metrics and they positively regress, and they start playing like their metrics say they should. So that is something there as well that I wanted to bring up, was just how they were performing compared to how they're supposed to be performing. And one last thing I wanted to bring up as well as the third reason why I believe the Mets are not playing well this year so far. This one I don't think is as, I think this does play a role. Whatever they did to the MLB schedule makers, I don't know what it is, but they completely screwed them this season when it comes to their schedule, because they started the year in March, and they were, I believe they were on at home to start the year against Pittsburgh, but then they hit the road. They went to St. Louis, and then they made their first trip to the West Coast. They went to San Fran, played 4, then played 3, and then came back home. They played 6 games, 3 against the Diamondbacks, 3 against the Athletics, and then hit the road again to LA. Their second trip to the Western time zone. They played the Dodgers, they played the Cubs. And then they came back home, played the Twins and the Rockies, and the Nationals, and then you guessed it, they hit the road again. They went to the Angels. Third, third trip to the Pacific time zone, where they played the Angels and they played the Rockies, and then the Diamondbacks as well. And now, then they went through they played a lot of home games towards the end of May, and then on June 1st, this is currently recording on June 3rd, but on June 1st, they made in the first little over 2 months their fourth trip to the Pacific time zone when they played. They salvaged the series against Seattle today, and then they played the San Diego Padres. And I believe after this, the latest game that they will play the rest of the season is at 8:40, when it's the second to last series of the year against the Texas Rangers. They will be in Texas, and it'll be an 8:05 start time on the 22nd and the 23rd. Other than that, they will not be going out west the rest of the year. And I think that schedule is going to help them progress further. But I think that could also play an effect to the way this team has played, is that the travel has definitely impacted the way the Mets have played so far this season, making 4 trips as a New York team in the first a little over 2 months to the West Coast. They got all of it out of the way now. Hopefully that helps them in the future. But those are the reasons why I think the Mets are struggling so far this year. Also, coaching has not been great. Carlos Mendoza has not been the best, but they are going to keep him. And it's mainly been injuries. Yeah, David Stearns probably could have done a little bit better of a job with the roster, but I feel like he did. He's had good moments, and I feel like going forward it's going to get better. But that is the video for what is wrong with the New York Mets. I talked about injuries, underperforming, and then their schedule, their travel schedule so far this year. Let me also down in the comment section below why else do you think this team is struggling, and do you think it'll get better, or do you think they're just gonna continue to struggle, sell at the deadline, and just not be good the rest of the year? Let me know down in the comment section below. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.